So my name is Elay Cohen, and I'm the CEO of SalesHood, and excited to be here. Today, we're going to talk about MEDDICC or MEDDICC or, whatever the acronym is, two Ps, three Ds, three Cs. We'll talk about that in a second, but we are here to talk about how you can think about executing a Q4 MEDDICC Refresh program quickly, efficiently, so you can all up-level how you're executing MEDDICC right now. So we're going to walk you through why MEDDICC isn't sticking. We're going to walk you through and talk about what does a MEDDICC refresh program look like, and then we're going to log in and show you how you can execute it today. And so whether you are a SalesHood customer or not, hopefully you'll walk away with some actionable insights that you can take to your teams and implement right now to impact Q4. That is our hope. We have a few slides, a quick poll, and then we're going to get in and we're going to do a demo. So boom, here we go. Q4 MEDDICC Refresh. Let me start by just taking a moment for those of you that are less familiar with SalesHood. Our mission from the very first moment we founded our company back in 2013 is to empower sellers to sell better with purpose-built revenue enablement. We're super, super proud of all the awards and accolades we get. Forrester just came out with this awesome wave, which I love this line. SalesHood is one of the few vendors that approaches their work from the perspective of sellers and traditional sales enablement professionals. That's who we are as a business. And listen, SalesHood, we are a purpose-built revenue enablement platform. We're going to guide teams on what to do, what to share by personalizing, selling, and training and coaching. Today, we're going to focus in on MEDDICC, but just to kind of provide some insight. SalesHood's platform is a complete sales content system, so content management system. AI now is powering a conversational user experience. So salespeople, sales teams can come in and ask questions and get answers and use AI to really help them spend less time searching and more time selling. We've got digital sales rooms. When we think about MEDDICC, how do you engage with champions? How do you engage with economic buyers? How do you engage with distributed asynchronous decision teams? Digital sales rooms are the way to do it. We've got coaching, and GenAI is making coaching that much better, and training, right? Many of you know SalesHood as an amazing sales learning system. So that's the platform. And now let's take a moment and let's talk about why companies are failing with MEDDICC. Why MEDDICC is failing to stick. So number one, there's poor alignment between the seller experience and the flow of work when we talk about getting teams to adopt and embrace enablement. Kind of there's training that happens, but it doesn't really come to life in how they do their job. So that's one reason. Number two, there's a lack of leadership and manager support and buy-in, right? There's lack of leadership, buy-in, and manager support. Again, folks get trained, and then what happens on forecast calls? What happens on one-on-ones? What happens on deal reviews? How are we really providing the resources and the tools to inspect what's working and what's not working? And then finally, the training and reinforcement is just like show up to a Zoom call or show up to an event and really doesn't show up in the way that sales teams and customer success teams want it to show up. Bite-sized, just in time, right? So these are some of the reasons why MEDDICC has failed to really deliver on the promise of the outcomes that we expected. And really, just turned into just being checkbox enablement. And that's really kind of where we are. When we think about some of the challenges that our teams are facing, I think aligning with economic buyers, empowering our champions to evangelize for us, being able to really navigate the decision-making process and decision criteria, and then truly getting to the implications of pain, those tend to universally be the ones that are challenging organizations the most today. And so, today we're living in a new era of sales. And, this is important because we need to put ourselves in the mindset of our buyers. And, the new era of sales today is a hyper-personalized buying experience. So that means that our buyers are expecting so much more from our sellers, so much more. And if we look back in time and we think about where we've come from, back in the 70s, face-to-face was really kind of the mode of selling, right? We'd show up, we'd have the buyer and seller would meet each other and they'd kind of shake hands and you build relationships. And that's how we sold in the 70s. And in the 80s, consultative selling kind of emerged, with solution selling and really, trying to add value. Kind of the IBM way was kind of the way of selling back in the 80s. And then automation showed up in the 90s where inside sales and telesales is emerging. CRM really helped us track our sales activities. And just look at these big mega trends, right? Face-to-face to consultative to automation. Social kind of emerge in the 2010s. I love that, right? Now we want to be where our buyers are, their social networks, and like the rise of Twitter and LinkedIn and Insta and all these places where our buyers are. We want to be where they are. And then when COVID hit, boom, all of a sudden, we're remote, right? And now we got to like figure out how we're going to engage our buyers in a distributed fashion, right? So what's happened today with AI and with GenAI and the fast-paced hyper-personalization of selling and this big mega trend is we've taken the best of face-to-face, the best of consultative, the best of automation, the best of social, and the best of remote, and compounded all those benefits. And that's where we are today. Our buyers expect the last 50 years of selling, but they expect every one of their buyers to be hyper-personalizing their experience. So this is the new mode of selling. And so what it means is the selling experience needs to be customized. The selling experience needs to be digital. We need to enable virtual collaboration. We need to be mindful about multi-threading our approaches to selling, and we need to be data-driven. So this is super relevant for MEDDICC because MEDDICC is a qualification framework. And now if you take a hyper-personalized selling approach to selling and you marry it with MEDDICC, you can actually realize all these benefits. And it's not just me. If we look at Gartner, Forrester, and I love the McKinsey quote, 80% of decision makers prefer remote or digital self-service. So how do we create an experience where our sellers are embracing MEDDICC and embracing it to the fullest, and yet providing customized experiences through digital channels and providing collaboration across the decision team so they can help navigate the decision criteria, decision process. They can engage champions, engage economic buyers, and do this in a multi-threaded way and ultimately winning more deals and differentiating, right? That's what we're talking about here. And so what we have is we've got, again, I'm not going to go through today and explain MEDDICC. I think we're all here because we all appreciate MEDDICC. What we're talking about today is how can we get our teams to refresh on MEDDICC? How can we get our teams to operationalize? How do we operationalize MEDDICC in our organizations? And we've got a 5-step process. Number 1, training. Number 2, engagement. Number 3, execution. 4, inspection. And then finally 5, we're gonna measure the whole thing. And so we are going to show you today a way to train and reinforce your team's knowledge and mastery of MEDDICC with bite-sized content and GenAI coach, right? We're going to show that to you. We're going to show you how today in a modern world of hyper-personalized selling, how you can use digital sales rooms to engage champions and economic buyers like never before. We're going to show you how you're going to be able to execute the decision-making process and really uncover, kind of all the steps in the decision-making process and the procurement process in a collaborative way using mutual action plans. And we're going to show you how frontline managers and sales leaders are going to be able to inspect what's working, what's not working, whether it's in Salesforce, whether it's with the engagement data that you now have. And it all comes together around measuring buyer intent and revenue impact. And so we ultimately, using the MEDDICC framework, we want you to know which content is working, which content is not working, which content is impacting revenue. We want you to be able to predictably forecast what deals will close based on buyer engagement. And then ultimately, we want you to improve win rates. That's really what we're talking about today. And it's all around MEDDICC, right? And, just to kind of give you some proof points, some of our customers who have leaned into our purpose-built revenue enablement platform along with MEDDICC are realizing some pretty tremendous benefits. Like, no joke, 57% increase in win rates when you get a sales team actually embracing hyper-personalized selling with MEDDICC, 400% increase in deal size. CROs like Craig Jones are also talking about 100% plan attainment. So it's possible. It is possible to get out of this kind of productivity rut that a lot of organizations are in today. And today we're going to show you how to do it. And now I'm going to show you how to do those 5 steps, how to operationalize MEDDICC, with training, engagement, execution, inspection, and with measurement. I'm going to show you how that works. And listen, each and every one of you is invited to get access to our MEDDICC system and to use it. And you can get up and running super fast where like we mean it, like we can help you impact Q4. And whether your Q4 is already started in September or whether it starts in October, we can prove to you how you can realize in-quarter results. And let me show you how. Welcome to SalesHood. This is how SalesHood is a purpose-built revenue enablement platform, guides sellers on what to do, what to share. Here you're looking at the homepage from a seller's point of view. So I'm going to show you the seller experience. It's really important that you appreciate that this is purpose-built, designed for sellers, because we want to give the sales team everything they need. Because, like, listen, we want to guide them and on what to do and what to share by personalizing their experiences, personalizing their training experiences, personalizing their coaching experiences, and personalizing their selling experiences. So on the homepage, you can see here, there's a welcome message. They've got their top client sites, which, you know, those are the sites that they use to engage champions, to engage decision makers. The homepage has competitive swaps, land and expand. It's got, you know, the ability to practice your pitch right here on the homepage. It's got, you know, content templates. It's got training, you know, recommended to you right here. Amazing, right? It's pretty great. So as a sales person, I have everything I need to be successful. So remember the 5 pillars we talked about: training, engagement, execution, inspection, and we are going to talk about measurement. So let's start with training. What we're trying to do here is we want to provide a way for you to systematically get your teams refreshed on all the basic principles of MEDDICC, whatever the letters are. And so you can see what we're doing is we're guiding teams through a learning path, right? So this is all leveraging SalesHood, and you can see there's an intro to MEDDICC. There's sales skills refreshers. Here's kind of the deal review process. Here's a coaching guide. But check this out. Every letter: metrics, economic buyer, decision criteria, decision process, you know, champion training. You know, there's a welcome video right here. You know, all the video content that we've created for MEDDICC has been highly produced, and we've curated this content. So it's pretty turnkey. And so you could basically have your teams go through it and instantly just up-level all of them on MEDDICC. We've had a lot of CROs go through it, and, you know, a lot of organizations, a lot of leaders, oh, we could do this ourselves. We could record our own version and all that. And I've had every CRO, every VP sales that goes through it says, okay, yours is better. It's thoughtful. And every one of these is really organized. I'm going to show you what one looks like in a minute, but just wanted you to just appreciate there's a journey here. There's a learning path. You can make this be delivered in a week. You can do it in 2 weeks. And let's just remember, I'm a salesperson. I can see exactly, you know, where I am, where I left off, how much learning time there is for me to do. And from an administrative perspective, it's easy to kind of move things around and customize. But let's go look at a letter. Let's go look at champion, right? You know, we all know this. There's no champion, there's no deal, right? So that's pretty clear. So here's what a micro learning looks like specific to champion. And here, just from an administrative perspective, you can see insights. So you can actually track and see completion rates. So you've got leaderboards in here. You can see progress completion, which is great. You can see all the participants. So a rep can see everyone on the team. They can see how they're doing. So there's some gamification built into this. But really the meat here is there's some training, there's some learning. There's a definition video, testing champions, earning trust, team exercise, there's a test, there's a deal review, AI coach, and then there's a guide. Boom, check this out. Like there's a lot going on here. And so like every one of the letters has a similar flow where we're providing a definition, right? Here's a definition of what the term is. So you're going to, you know, you can watch it, go through it. And you know, I think what's interesting is you can do closed caption. There's a transcript, so you can actually kind of fire away, go a little deeper in. You can change the speed. You know, you go faster, go slower. So all that stuff, and then also there's translations and all that. But really, again, we're talking about MEDDICC and MEDDICC. So here's testing champions, right? So we're guiding the sellers. First, understand what champions are, then understand the best practices on testing champions, understand the best practices on earning trust. And then look at this, learn by doing. Share an active deal where you're currently working with the champion. What is the deal and the deal size? So we've curated a complete end-to-end MEDDICC Refresh training program with collaboration, peer-to-peer knowledge sharing across the way, every step of the way. So it's pretty powerful. And just like standard learning, you want to have a test here. So here's a test. And again, we can see how everyone's been doing. You got to apply the champion to your deals. In this exercise, you'll self-assess your champion. So pick a deal. How do you know they're your champion? Score yourself. Again, teams are going through this together. And then I love this. Now in this module, so let's think about it, right? Up until now, you've watched the videos, you did a quiz, you did some exercises. Now it's time to actually, show us. Show us you understand what a champion is. So here we're using GenAI. And so I can go in and I can go record a video and I can see a scorecard. So the ideal, I can see, I got to have a target duration of 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I got to maintain a positive tone. I need to be compliant with these core elements: coach versus champion, champion role, mutual action plan. Okay, got it. I understand. I want to be using this language, power and influence. Okay, this is great. Let me practice. So as a salesperson, I can quickly just get feedback on whether I really understand if I've got a champion or not. Awesome. Let me walk you through my understanding of a champion. Champion has power and influence. They are not a coach, and they're a champion. They're a champion because they're going to collaborate with me on a mutual success plan. They're going to make introductions to economic buyers and to folks that have influence and power. And they're also going to select us as a preferred vendor. And these are all the ways that I know if my champion is my champion. Let me know how I did. And so, boom, it instantly is providing me feedback on that element. Now, think about it. Each of you can customize this based on your go-to-market, your personas, and maybe there are specific elements of your champion profile that is specific to your business or how you sell, and you can do that. But as a salesperson, I just instantly get feedback. It's pretty compelling if you think about it. And this is, let's just let it finish up because it's pretty cool. And okay, it's a lot of feedback, which is great. I don't know when the last time, my manager gave me this much feedback, which that's an unintended benefit here of GenAI with MEDDICC training and coaching is salespeople are getting real-time feedback on, so what I did well, coach versus champion. They're not a coach, they're a champion. So I was able to articulate that. You clearly articulated that a champion is distinct from a coach. Check. I can improve. You mentioned that a champion is not a coach. You did not elaborate on what specifically differentiates the two roles, right? So fair enough, right? I was doing this pretty quickly. What you did well, champion has power and influence. So you can see it's calling out specifically the areas of my talk track that I did. And then I can make a decision whether I want to submit this as an actual assessment or whether I want to do it again. It's giving me feedback on duration, pace, tone, restricted phrases. Oh, I said, So and we don't want you saying, so there's some additional coaching there. And that's, I'm gonna leave here. That's how we are scaling a MEDDICC training program and education program with bite-sized learning. It's a turnkey solution with testing, with AI assessments. And we do that same flow happens across every one of the letters. And so every letter has, let me look at one more, economic buyer. Here's economic buyer. You can see there's a definition video. There's engagement tips, criteria for economic buyer, lessons learned, question builder, deal scoring, knowledge check. And look at that, another AI coach to make sure that I understand the principles of an economic buyer. And that's how we're guiding teams on what to do and what to share. That's the first step, right? And it doesn't stop there. What's great here is the learning path has some great content that can be, easily customizable. It's got all the things here. Here's some reinforcement. So basically, let's pretend everyone goes through the training for the first week, and then boom, I can do a champion reinforcement. I can drip this to the team maybe 30 days later. And that way we're providing additional reinforcement. So here's instructions, prep, and another self-assessment with GenAI on champion that's a little bit more robust and a little bit more, inclusive. But what we want to highlight is the videos and the assets from an operational perspective. We want them to be available when the salespeople need them most. So imagine, let's fast forward and we move into, kind of selling mode. I want, go back to the homepage, those videos should show up, in Salesforce on stage one, on stage two, or when I assign a champion to my deal, I should be reintroduced to some of that content. Here's the champion definition. Here's the champion, how to coach a champion, how to build trust with a champion. Here's that little GenAI practice pitch, so that way I can actually, and so it's not just about that initial training or that initial access to a system when they're going through the training. It's what happens 30 days, 60 days, 90 days later. And so our system will be able to follow your reps where they are, whether it's in Salesforce, whether it's in Gmail, right? We've got a Gmail plugin that will provide the ability to recommend content or assets where they are, because we want to make sure that every salesperson has their own personal coach. So I appreciate the feedback. So from an engagement perspective, now we want to arm our sales teams with the ability to build trust with their champions. And so using a digital sales room like this is an example digital sales room. I'm a sales rep. I'm selling to NVIDIA, fictitious sales cycle. They're not really a SalesHood customer. And in this, I'm going to just kind of, in this digital sales room, I can share, a personal video. I can share demos. I can share testimonials. And what's beautiful here is organizations can create templates, and these templates can map back to the MEDDICC framework. They map back to personas, champions, economic buyers, and you're able to operationalize how your sales team is sharing content. That's really the next phase here. So again, here's the NVIDIA site. Here's the demos, testimonials, why choose call recordings, right? So when you finish your calls, with the digital sales room, you will sync the call, we'll transcribe the call, we'll recommend next steps, we'll recommend content. It's pretty cool, right? And what we're trying to do is make sure that marketing is creating content that is relevant and useful for salespeople, testimonials and demos. We want to make sure that the reps are using the right content, and we want to make sure that they're following the MEDDICC qualification and the MEDDICC framework. In addition to the benefits of sharing content, you also have the benefits of being able to get visibility to what the champions and what the economic buyers and the decision makers are really thinking. So when you share content, you can actually see what content are they viewing, how much time are they spending on the content. So for example, if we tell our sales team that part of building trust with a champion is to share reference stories and to share demos and to share a business case, you would share that content in the site, just like I've shared here. And then when you share it with the champion, you can tell how engaged a champion. Do they log in? Are they spending time on the site? And then more importantly, check this out. You can see who they've shared it with, right? So now from an engagement perspective, the fact that your champion believes in you, trusts you, and then they introduce the site to other members of the decision team, salespeople following the MEDDICC framework have visibility to other people in the sales cycle, in the buying team. Like, it's so powerful. And that's what we're trying to do, right? MEDDICC training is great. MEDDICC reinforcement with GenAI coach is awesome. The MEDDICC the digital sales rooms to reinforce MEDDICC, the templates of MEDDICC, the templates of MEDDICC, like business cases and all the things you need to do to build trust and engage economic buyers is all here. It's very, very, very compelling. And this is like next level engagement. And again, back to what we talked about at the very beginning, selling has changed. It's hyper-personalized. So your salespeople, when they're using digital sales rooms to drive MEDDICC, to drive the MEDDICC process, to engage their buyers, to uncover the decision process, to uncover the decision criteria, to truly highlight the implications of pain, and they're using a site to do that, they're differentiating. And that's why those win rates are going to go up, because the buyers are realizing this is a much highly differentiated, personalized experience. So that's the second pillar here, which is the sharing of the content and the idea that you can capture the data. Third piece, talk about MEDDICC Refresh. One of the biggest challenges today in selling, one of the biggest challenges in B2B selling has always been, how do you drive alignment between buyers and sellers? How do you drive alignment? How do you ensure that how do you ensure that the compelling event is co-created? How do you identify milestones that are the customer's milestones? It's their decision criteria. It's their decision process. But how do you do it in a collaborative way? So if I'm a champion remember we talked about mutual success plans, and one of the ways you test your champions, you say, hey, we have a mutual action plan, and it's a template, and we know exactly the steps that are going to help you be successful. And so here's a mutual action plan inside of SalesHood. We rolled this out about 3-4 months ago, and it's pretty amazing. It's a standard feature in SalesHood, and the way we are recommending to our customers to do this, and all the salespeople that are using it today. And I can tell you this, the salespeople that are using the mutual action plan in digital sales rooms have dramatically higher win rates. You take that plus MEDDICC, you've got consistency, repeatability, you've got structure, you've got operational rigor all around MEDDICC, and this is how you know what they're doing, right? We can talk about mutual action plans, or check this out. We can actually arm them with a mutual action plan that they can say on a first or second call, hello, Mr. or Mrs. Champion. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, and we really have a good sense of what problems you're trying to solve. In our experience, we've learned that by, co-creating a mutual action plan, we can help you solve the problem, and we can up-level how you are solving this problem with your team. And so you are selling, quote unquote, selling the concept of the mutual action plan, getting them on board with it. And guess what? If your champion engages, that's a really positive sign. If they spend time going into the system, co-creating, adding tasks, look how easy it is to add tasks, and you are verifying, validating the dates, you're assigning owners, right? So you can now, well, who else is involved in finalizing the T's and C's? And you can pick people, identify people, add them here. Like, your competition is not selling this way. And if you're lucky, sales teams are using mutual plans, maybe in a siloed Google Sheet, or maybe in a Word doc, or maybe verbally talking about it. But this is dynamic, it's interactive, it's collaborative, it's alive. It's alive. And the beauty is, the information will show up in Salesforce as well. And the roll-up information will provide an update to the forecast. Very, very compelling, the mutual action plan, and the ability to arm the sales team with the buyer team collectively to co-create a mutual action plan and execute it together. So many great stories we have, so many great stories of sales teams that have, really leaned into mutual action plans as a way to reinforce what good selling looks like, to drive MEDDICC, to embrace MEDDICC the right way, and to really, truly engage champions and economic buyers and decision teams. Truly, truly some really remarkable, great stories. And it's really easy to just, you can just, change the status, like, oh no, we completed this one. We completed this one. And by the way, let me just show you. This isn't just internally facing. Here's what the site looks like from the buyer's perspective. So here's where the buyer can see the content. They can see the AI generated descriptions. They can look at the mutual plan, and they can they can add owners. So it's very, very, very interactive. And it's bi-directional, and we're basically taking the sales process and the buyer journey, turning it upside down, and empowering teams to really drive faster decisions. And we want our customers to make the right decisions. And if we can help them, guide them along the way, it's amazing. We've talked about training. We've talked about engagement, sharing digital sales rooms, sharing content. We talked about execution with the mutual action plans. Now let's spend a moment and talk about inspection. Right? What do we want to do? How do we inspect, right? So the MEDDICC framework should show up in Salesforce. You want to be able to the client sites, they show up in Salesforce. And check this out. What we're doing is making it real easy for a salesperson. If I go here, I look at my settings, so you can connect the client sites to the opportunities. Just think about that for a second. You connect the client site to the opportunity, and what does that do for us? It enables us to see macro level insights. So now I can see pipeline influence, revenue influence. I can see seller activity. I can see what are my top, I can see my top sites. I can see sites, because when remember, we're talking about inspection. When I'm having conversations with my sales team, either in a one-on-one or either on a forecast call or pipeline review or an account plan, what sales teams are doing today, who are leveraging digital sales rooms and MEDDICC, what they're doing is since they all embrace the importance of champion engagement, economic buyer engagement, building trust, using a mutual action plan, and using a digital sales room to drive engagement, becomes pretty binary. Do you have a site? How much engagement do you have on the site? And, and where are we in the mutual action plan, right? That's now, objective data that we have that will feed into, that will fuel our judgment on the forecast, right? And so that's why we're getting here. We had to build to here. First, we had to do the training, and then we had to get folks to use digital sales room, share content, and then we use mutual action plans. Again, there's data there, there's engagement, there's collaboration across the whole broader team. Beautiful. But really what we're doing is we're trying to drive the right level of data so we can increase forecast accuracy and make sure that folks are actually following the MEDDICC framework. And so that's how the pieces come together. And we added one more piece here. Like the deal review process is always like, we know how the deal review process works. It's a pain, and you end up on a Zoom call with a bunch of people and everyone just kind of going around, and you know what? How about if there was a way to use AI to make the whole deal review process more efficient? And I'll show you how that works. And so here's a MEDDICC AI deal coach. And so say hello to your personal MEDDICC AI deal coach. So what we've done is we've taken all the content in the videos, all the content in our guides, our sales process guides, our coaching guides, and we've trained our AI coach, AI deal coach, to provide feedback based on how a salesperson is actually relaying their deal, right? And you can see here how it works. I can go look at an example. Okay, I got it. I'm going to record. I'm going to get feedback. I love it. Okay, let's remind me. Oh yeah, here's my one pager. Okay, thanks for the reminder. Got it. Here's my deal scoring guide if I want to look at it. Perfect. Here's a coaching guide for managers. Okay, here's some questions. Okay, I'm gonna, let me do this. And so it uses the same kind of AI technology, but this one has been customized to be specific to the deal review process. And so I would go in and I would record the whole deal review. So let me actually, rather than do that, I think at this point in time, let me leave the seller experience and let me show you kind of how it works. So if I go in to this, I'm going to show you the edit, right? And so this is how our AI is set up, right? So we've trained it on MEDDICC, and then you can write specific scenarios. You're a sales leader, you expect your team to comply with MEDDICC qualification framework, and you feed it a scoring rubric based on your process, and we give that to you as well. Here's a scoring rubric. I love it. So we're using text to train, to hone the instructions. Here's the review criteria, key phrases, restricted phrases. This should be a minute or 5 minutes. And okay, I'm just showing you how easy it is to set these up. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to re-push this to pages. And so, I think I just kind of went into the admin for a second, just to show everyone. And so if I just go and just kind of record, you'll see that I'm not going to do the whole deal review, but just give you a sense of how it works. And so let me walk through a deal review for a company that I'm currently forecasting to close this quarter. The company is Ford, and let me walk through the metrics. We have clear metrics, which are all about customer satisfaction, NPS, and they want to close more dealer business. And the economic buyer, we're working closely with the Ford leader. And now let me talk about the decision criteria. We don't know what the decision criteria is, but we are going to work closely to navigate that. The decision process, again, it's not clear to us yet. It's an early stage deal, but the implications are paying dramatic competition from other companies like Tesla and all these energy efficiency companies. And so I'm going to stop there just to give you a sense. And that's kind of how we're thinking about the deal. So what it's done is it's gone through and listened to my deal. And you know what? We can also work it so it looks at the opportunity. So let's assess your deal, right? So now it comes back and it gives me a score. I think, give it a second. And I'm on a 1 through 4, I'm scoring. You can see here how it's scoring. It's working. AI works, takes time. And so you mentioned that you have clear metrics. work on quantifying the metrics. Love it. Economic, you mentioned that you're working closely with a forward leader, but it's not clear if that person is economic buyer or they're engaged. See, it's actually using the knowledge from MEDDICC. I'm going to close that. It's using the knowledge from MEDDICC, providing me with the feedback. And the intent here is a frontline manager, a sales organization would ask their team to run through the exercise of getting feedback on their deal reviews using the MEDDICC framework before they would actually do a more formal deal review process. You can imagine that you had a whole team, everybody did a deal review, everybody gets scored, there's a leaderboard, and now the frontline manager can show up, look at the feedback, and then they can have a conversation about the feedback and really kind of go a lot faster when it comes to deal reviews. So let's go back. And I did a lot of demo there, and really my intent was to highlight to you how to operationalize MEDDICC. Training, engagement, execution, and inspection, and then also to show you how you can measure buyer intent and revenue impact. A couple pieces I didn't mention. All the information, all the activity data, everything shows up in Salesforce. Everything shows up as activity history. You can also customize fields and have the elements be updated as well, which is pretty cool. And then you also have the opportunity to create a Slack group. So what a lot of the managers have done is they have their own Slack group for their team, and then all the activity for their deals, the engagement data, someone watches a video, someone logs into a site, someone updates a mutual plan. Those are activity record, those are activity data that shows up in the Slack feed. So a manager can look at the Slack feed and get a feel for which deals have engagement versus not have engagement, and then use that as a proxy to kind of apply judgment to the forecast. We have a lot of customers that at this point in time are saying every deal needs to follow the MEDDICC framework, every deal needs a digital sales room, and every deal needs a mutual plan. And that's how they're driving the right level of inspection and operational rigor to get their organization to really embrace and realize the benefits of the MEDDICC framework. And so for anyone here, I know we have some customers on the call. We've got some folks who are not customers, but we've got a special program for you. If you want our MEDDICC program right now, we'll get you turned on this week. We'll get you turned on ASAP, and you can use it for 90 days, up to 100 folks, 25K, and it's a really great program. You get 30 MEDDICC training videos, 10 coaching huddles. You get the GenAI coach, the deal reviews. You get the digital sales rooms. You get the mutual action plans with the CRM integration, and you will make an impact this quarter. You'll make an impact in quarter. Your ASP will go up. Your win rates will go up. You'll have much tighter, better adoption of MEDDICC. Your forecast accuracy will go up, and we'll help you every step of the way. And so, listen, this is SalesHood. We're all about helping organizations get fast time to deploy. Go live in days, not months, realize in-quarter results. And as you saw, everything there is drag and drop, point and click. It's pretty amazing. We're really excited about the future of revenue enablement. We're really excited about kind of bringing together SalesHood plus MEDDICC for each and every one of you, so that way you can realize the benefits of your organization adopting and embracing MEDDICC and really making MEDDICC stick in your culture, in the way that you run your teams and your businesses. And listen, back to our mission, ultimately helping you and everyone in your salespeople and everyone in your organization sell better. And that's what this is about. We're all about helping you sell better, close more deals, differentiate the buying process, and ultimately win over more customers. So that was it. I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Hopefully you walked away with some nuggets. And again, if you're a SalesHood customer, boom, we can activate MEDDICC for you. Digital sales rooms are available. Mutual plans are available. If you're not a SalesHood customer, let us know and we'll get you set up pretty quickly. My name is Elay Cohen, the CEO of SalesHood, and thanks for joining us today.